let's be honest, we've had a good transfer window. From views from the 15th, from nobody's going to want to join your club, from you ain't going to be able to attract anyone, to Benjamin Sesko, to Mateus Cunha, and, of course, Brian Mbeumo. So do not doubt the fact that Man United can go after Carlos Baleba. Don't say it's impossible. Don't say it can't happen. Don't say there's no chance. Do we need to sell to buy right now? Yes. But according to reports, Carlos Baleba has asked to leave. He's made it known to his agent. He's made it known to Brighton, Paul Barber, Tony Bloom, these type of guys that he wants out. So that means there's a deal to be done if the figures can match. And that's a big if. I understand that. But what I would say is don't underestimate Ineos, because I did not think that we were going to be able to get Brian Mbeumo, Mateus Cunha, and Benjamin Sesko after finishing 15th. So nothing is out of the realms of possibility. All cards are on the table. I can't wait to see how this one pans out. I can't wait to see if we bid. I know the word's been used as, improbable by Ornstein, etc., but until the deal's dead, it's not dead. It's not dead until, it's completely all off the table and it's not happening, or the window's shut and there's been no bid. You have to believe. You have to believe. So we're going to be talking about that.
Baleba. Then I saw his face, and now I'm a Baleba Fleck, because you mentioned this yesterday, kind of referenced it, and a little bit more has come out over the last sort of few hours or so, starting from Indicator, which I can't believe we're referencing on the show, but this window is, we're in a different timeline.
Speaking of window, I'm just opening mine as you speak, Carol.
We've got a heat wave coming. We've got a heat wave coming in the UK. But Carlos Baleba has made his intentions clear. He has verbally asked Brighton to let him leave the club and move to Manchester United. As I mentioned, Indicator were first to break the story. So who's to poo-poo their sources when it comes to specifically the Baleba deal? Maybe he has made his intentions clear. I want to join Manchester United. I want to play at the Theatre of Dreams. I want to play alongside the likes of Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko. Now, Fabrizio Romano, if you're worried about other journalists, well, it's only Indicalia. No, Fabrizio Romano, he's stirring that pot when it comes to Carlos Baleba as well, saying Manchester United will continue talks with Carlos Baleba in the coming days. It remains a tough deal, which it's been stressed from the start that it is a very tough one to do. Financially, sales, not on the player side, but on the club-to-club side and the financials, it is a tough one to pull off. But United remain in contact with Carlos Baleba's agents, and they want to make an attempt at a deal. They're not giving up, so they're not being put off by the fact that it's a difficult deal. Manchester United have done difficult deals in the past. Lenny Yoro at one point was considered a difficult deal. They managed to pull that off. Even in this window, you could say that Benjamin Sesko, not in terms of the player side or even the club-to-club side, but the financials at one point were maybe considered a difficult deal. Brian Mbeumo was considered at one point a difficult deal because Brentford...
Every single deal.
But they didn't give up on it. And currently, all of those people we've mentioned are Manchester United players. Finally, Romano said in his YouTube video, this weekend was important to understand more by Manchester United about this Carlos Baleba deal and whether to move on to other targets or not. They remain in contact with the agents and are still thinking about this possibility. And actually, if you listen to what Romano's saying there, where he said, actually, this weekend was important to understand more about this deal and whether we should move on or not. And basically, we've been given no indication to suggest that they have moved on to other targets. That actually does speak volumes, because clearly, and the fact that this story is even being reported on in the first place by the likes of Ornstein and others, clearly Manchester United, in the same way, like Brian Mbeumo, in the same way of, Benjamin Sesko, clearly they've heard something to suggest that there is, albeit maybe small, but there is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. There is a chance.
There is. Maybe
this deal could be done, or they feel like something could give on this whole Carlos Baleba saga.
I think that when I sort of did that update yesterday from Indy K-List, it's like, I've said it then, I'll say it again in case you guys missed it. When they speak about Carlos Baleba, I'm just giving it the same energy for the whole Baleba saga, because they came out with it first and Ornstein co-signed it. They deserve, I'd say my attention anyway, our attention, to take them seriously. So yesterday they said, shout out to the journalist that gave them this info, but they went quite strong. They said personal terms aren't a problem. He's agreed them. The agent also has given the green light on a contract for Man United. And that's what I was saying yesterday. That is the easy part of it. No disrespect to Brighton Wolves, Brentford, clubs like that, RB Leipzig. The personal side of it for the player to agree terms with Man United is the easy part. They want to come here. They want to be a Man United player. They want to be part of this project. And of course, they want to, up their wages. Who doesn't? If Carlos Baleba's on 12 grand a week, it is not hard to agree personal terms with him to give him 80 grand a week or 100 grand a week, which is what we'd probably do.
You don't even need to go to like 100, really, do you?
Don't need to.
When you're
Maybe
on
75.
12, if you go to like, Rasmus Højlund, which we'll talk about later on, he's on like 85. Yeah. So you know what I mean? If Carlos Baleba,
because we're buying him for 100 million, there'll be a lot
but you're buying a 21-year-old
bonus, this, that, and the other.
You're buying
a
21-year-old. Yeah, you're 21-year-old, and it might be a thing of you sign a 5-year deal plus an extra year. When you finish that contract, you're still only 26. You know what I mean? You still got a lot of time and direction to go on that. So, but to your point,
to waive fees.
It's not like I said, it's not an issue. Man United aren't worried about that, and they're not worried about going. It's going to be a really expensive wage one. That deal. It's
not exactly. It's going to be whatever it is. It's going to be within our budget. He will be on a hell of a lot more, obviously, and maybe again, like I said, with a signing that is to the tune of the best part of 100 million. That comes with, even though the agent's waiving fees and stuff, he's going to be on something big compared to his 12 grand, but not big in the grand scheme of what we can offer. But anyway, so that's the easy bit. But India Kayla saying that I thought that was quite interesting. I was surprised. Maybe, I don't know. It felt like it wasn't breaking X like I thought it was. In terms of, I saw that as really significant personally. And of course, it doesn't mean that you're closer to getting him because, listen, this is about satisfying Brighton. This is about reaching a valuation that Brighton are comfortable with. And we all know, everybody knows what Brighton are on. But in terms of like when you get the extra sort of stuff from Fabrizio Romano saying, like you just said there and that what you just showed, like the weekend was important to find out what's going on. They're just still there. They're still there at the table trying to do this, trying to find a way. And I think if a domino falls, if Rasmus and Garnacho, if those dominoes fall, which they look like they're on their way to falling, all of the Garnacho stuff is that he's agreed personal terms, but Chelsea are just going to wait till late in the window. Rasmus it's just been made abundantly clear to him now. Like, I know that he come out on tour and said he doesn't want to stay. He wants to stay, sorry. But when you don't get any minutes in the preseason game like that, and now obviously the report saying you've been told to leave, he's going to have to leave. So if those two dominoes falls, I think that's when we'll see a bit of an acceleration for Carlos Baleba. Or if we get a bid before that, it means those guys are definitely going. There's no way Man United could do it otherwise. The only thing I would say is that I think this is going to be quite late. What have we got? 2 weeks left. We got.
Wow.
How long we got?
It's about what? There's 20 days left of August, and I think it's maybe September 1st or 2nd. So you're about 3 weeks. You're about 3 weeks.
That's about 3. Actually, a lot can happen in 3 weeks. But I feel like the last 10 days, though, I think stuff will happen. I think I think we'll get one more in.
If it keeps at this pace, which the last week or so has been very intense with the
Sesko deal was really quick,
and then straight away into the Baleba. And we have to remember that Man United do tend to focus on one at a time. That still hasn't really changed all that much in this sort of Ineos era of do one at a time. They're not amazing at doing multiple deals at one point. They kind of, once they get to the finish line or close to the finishing line on one deal, then they start doing the sort of other work on the other deal, which you feel like this is where this Baleba things come from. And like you said, there's a lot to happen actually over the next couple of weeks.
I just wanted to remind ourselves of, again, what we're working with. Yeah. So in 2023 with the Caicedo thing, because we all remember that sort of, he did an open letter on his Instagram in a plea to get out. This is what he said. He goes, "I'm grateful to Brighton for giving me the chance to come to the Premier League, and I feel how I have always done my best. I always play football with a smile and with heart." Statement by the Ecuador International. "I am proud to be able to bring in so cheeky. I'm proud to be able to bring in a record transfer fee for Brighton, which would allow them to invest it and help the club continue to be successful. I am the youngest of 10 siblings from a poor upbringing in Santo Domingo in Ecuador. My dream's always to be the most decorated player in the history of Ecuador. The fans have taken me into their hearts, and they will always be in my heart. So I hope they can understand why I want to take this magnificent opportunity. De Zerbi at the time said he was relaxed. He said, I spoke with him like a father, not like a coach. I hope he can stay with us until the end of the season. That's the best solution for him and for us. Mikel Arteta, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he did that in January, and he stayed. He stayed, didn't it, to the summer? He didn't go in that January, did he?
No.
Yeah, he stayed. He said, I spoke to him like a father, not a coach, and I hope he can stay with us until the end of the season. And Brighton went, right, it's cute that, you know, you want to be the most decorated football player in Ecuadorian history. It's cute. I say it's cute. It's very touching that, you know, you're the youngest of 10 siblings from a poor upbringing. So that's, you know, listen, it's unbelievable of what you've done here to get to this position. It's unreal that you do always play with a smile on your face and give your all. And you've made it clear you want to take this magnificent opportunity. You're not leaving.